Spoken idioms in action, number 1. This is the third installment in this series. Let's get this started with revivalist spoken idioms. I should have done this such a long time ago, but let's get this started with. Alright, here are the idioms for today. You know the drill. Bear in mind, bear with me. Before you know it, behind bars. Believe it or not, be off to, beside the point, be up to, wait a second, be off to, by accident, by all means. I'm terrible at reading. I probably have ADHD, but a very mild version. Here we go. Wait a second, what did I say? Regardless of what I said earlier, ignore all that and let's focus here. Idiom number 21 is born something in mind, or bear something in mind. My father gave me a piece of advice once. He said that people abroad appreciate it if you try to speak to them in their own language. I've always borne that advice in mind when I go traveling. It does help us rule. Now, what I'm imagining he's saying is, 你好，yeah, 我阿文的你们是中国人吧? And then they would go ahead and probably sing that 你可以说亲亲 and then they'll probably then the kid, I imagine the kid saying that I am going to go ahead and try to understand you, okay? That's quite one of the most comedy things that appeared into my mind too. Like a broken Chinese, like with weird grammar, like 你好我很是见 and then they will say like I try understand you. That's quite comedic in my opinion too. But back to the point, bear in mind. Bear in mind literally means that you remember something and you take it into your consideration in your future encounters with that thing. Let's skip this quickly. I already wasted so much time. Next up, we have bear with me. Another bear joke. Yeah. No jokes. Bear with me. I'll explain to you after the comic. Now, children, I'd like to welcome you all to Class 2R. My name is Miss Rogers. I'm sure we'll get to know one another very soon. But please bear with me if it takes a little while to learn all your names. I try to sound like a teacher, but I sound like an AI. Regardless, here's the whole point. Bear with me. Bear with me literally means that you are asking whoever you're telling to bear with them politely to just go ahead and go along with them to wait until you or they finish doing something. In this case, remembering all the children's names. And then again, I'm pretty sure this Mrs. Rogers has to remember other classes' names too. As a result, she'll probably have to remember at least 40 names. And at most, 80 names. And if you're the principal and you want to know everyone's names, well, you're doomed, because you're going to have to memorize thousands of names. If you want to memorize the teacher's names too, well, too bad. Now you got 750 to 60 names. Wow, that must be why principals are really hard on each other. Now it's time for the 23rd one. Before you know it. Here, this 23rd idiom is before you know it. What a wonderful saying air travel is. You board your plane amid ice and snow. You fall asleep in a comfortable seat. Then, before you know it, you're touching down in tropical paradise. So I guess they're going to Australia for Christmas. Well, here the idiom is before you know it. And before you know it literally means that you suggest to someone that time can seem to pass much more quickly than they expected. You can also use before he or she knew it too to go ahead and say that something is happening really, really fast. Like, before I knew it, my hair was long and now I have to cut it soon. Except I don't want to cut it. I'll probably just cut off this snippet, but I'll keep the bangs. Alright, our 24th idiom. This is quite self-explanatory too. James Jones is starting a new life today. He made a terrible mess of his old life. He has spent a year behind bars. He has promised that he will never go back again. Now, behind bars is obviously behind prison bars. No need to explain that, I suppose. Now it's time for the 25th one. This one is believe it or not. Immense progress has been made in the last 50 years, especially in information technology. Thanks to components such as transistors and silicon chips, we have been able to pack more computing power into a smaller and smaller space. Now this little device, believe it or not, is 1,000 times more powerful than this huge machine. I really love my voice acting days. Here he goes up. One thing I kind of have to mention about this comic is that this guy suddenly wears a blue jacket, a blue suit, on his pink shirt. So that's quite of an informality, but that's beside the point. Here, we're going ahead and talking about believe it or not. Now, believe it or not, literally means it's that when you are going to tell something to someone, it seems that to be very unlikely, even though it is quite true. Now, to someone who was born in, like, let's say, 1945, I'm pretty sure no one from then exists now, they go ahead and probably are used to all the big television sets and computers as big clunky machines that take up an entire room. Even larger than this room, too. And then suddenly they're told that this little thing is much more powerful than that. In fact, it's millions more powerful than that. They'll be like, what? And get their mind blown. Alright, now it's time for the 26th idiom. Where's Daniel off to, I wonder? He's in a great hurry. Daniel! Sorry, Mom, I can't stop. I'm off to the vets. I found this little bird and it had its wing. Nah, I could probably do better. Where's Daniel off to, I wonder? He's in a great hurry. Daniel! Sorry, Mom, I can't stop. I'm off to the vets. I found this little bird and it's had its wing. Yeah, the kid's voice was quite a little too deep, but I suppose it's better than nothing, I suppose. Here, our idiom is be off to, or someone is off to, like, is off to. Be, is, and am are variations of be. Now, where's Daniel off to, I wonder? Literally means, where do I think Daniel is going off? Going to, I suppose. Like it says informally, you want to know where they are going. Like in this case, Daniel went ahead and said that he is going to the vets. Off to is just an informal way of saying I'm going to. And now it's time for the 27th idiom. Wow, this guy doesn't even have pupils. That is very creepy. It's like he's very mad. I didn't leave the gate open. It was Timmy. No, I wasn't. It was you. Be quiet, you two. Who left the gate open? It's besides the point. We've got to get these sheep back into the field. Now, here our idiom is beside the point. Now, beside the point means that it is not relevant to your discussion right now. Like, in this case, it doesn't matter who opened the gate because whoever opened it, we're going to bring all the sheep back inside anyway. Well, anyways, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Besides the point, I use that idiom here a lot too, in different variations, of course. Back to the point, besides the point. Here, I always use them in the perfect sense as we're going away from the main goal, and then we should go back from the sidetrack to back here. Now, here we go. Let's get this started with. Alright, be up to. Be up to is our idiom right now, and I'm gonna voice act this myself. It's too quiet upstairs. I'm sure the girls are up to something. I'll go have a look. Alright, what are you girls up to? Martha, you better come and see this. I can't actually scream because it's the middle of the night for me. But here, our idiom is be up to. Now, be up to, it means that, hey, you think that someone is doing something like informing you want to know what someone is doing, such as the same way as off to, be off to, where you want to know where someone is going. Be up to, you informally want to know what someone is doing, and then we find out eventually anyway. And now it's one of my favorite comedies that are actually historically accurate. 29, by accident. This one is quite self-explanatory. I'm gonna explain this quickly. By accident means you did something with accident, you accidentally did something. And accident is like you didn't do it intentionally. You didn't do it on purpose. Here we go. Some important scientific discoveries are made by accident. Professor Fleming left some materials uncovered in a small dish and forgot about it. When he came back a few days later, a strange-looking mold was growing in the dish. When he examined the mold, he found a very interesting and useful medicinal qualities. Eventually, Professor Fleming and his colleagues were able to use the mold he found by accident to develop modern antibiotic medicines. Alright, microphone's there. I'm gonna have to use my normal voice now. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, by accident, I already explained what by accident means anyway. Now it's time for the 30th idiom for today, by all means. Oh dear, I forgot to bring an umbrella. Then by all means, take mine. I can possibly. You will get soaking wet. Then I share it. Which way are you going? Kind man, with a very kind woman who's, yeah. Not bad looking herself, to be honest. Anyways, here we go. 30, by all means, literally means that you use by all means as a way to go ahead and emphasize that your willingness to allow to sacrifice something of your own for the better of someone else. You allow someone else to do something. Like your willingness to allow someone else to do something. Either that or you should just give them your raincoat. It's not like you're going to need it. You have an umbrella. Why would you bring a raincoat? But anyways, by all means, it's like, you should do it, not me. I'd rather do this. And that is the end for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the content for the next 10 idioms. I hope to see you guys soon, and until next time, Shahana, peace. Bye bye.